Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Mitchell, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something called the Freudian psychoanalysis theory. I'll also be going into detail regarding who Sigmund Freud was, what his theory of psychoanalysis is, and how he used this to help his clients to recover from traumatic events. But before I get into the topic in more detail, I'd like to make you all aware that this video will be presented to you in a podcast format, and the picture and background that you're looking at right now will not change at all during this video. Let's start off by talking a little bit about who Sigmund Freud was. Freud is well known as the most influential intellectual legislator of his age. His creation of psychoanalysis was at once a theory of the human psyche, a therapy for the relief of its ills, and an optic for the interpretation of culture and society. Despite repeated criticisms, attempted refutations, and qualifications of Freud's work, its spell remained powerful well after his death and in fields far removed from psychology as it is narrowly defined. Freud believed that the mind is responsible for both conscious and unconscious decisions that it makes on the basis of psychological drives. The ID, ego, and superego are three aspects of the mind Freud believed to comprise a person's personality. In simple terms, Sigmund Freud's theory suggests that human behavior is influenced by unconscious memories, thoughts, and urges. This theory also proposes that the psyche comprises three aspects: the ID, ego, and superego. The ID is entirely unconscious, while the ego operates in the conscious mind. The superego operates both unconsciously and consciously. Psychology students spend a fair amount of time learning about Freud's theory. Even those outside the psychology field often have some awareness of Freudian psychoanalysis, the school of thought created by Sigmund Freud. Knowing more about Freudian psychology, along with the key concepts in psychoanalysis, like the unconscious, fixations, defense mechanisms, and dream symbols, can help you understand the influence Freud's theories have had on contemporary psychologists. By contrast, Freud regarded dreams as a royal road to the unconscious. Dream interpretation has thus been an important psychoanalytic technique. So let's take a closer look at the methods that Freud used as part of his psychoanalysis theory in practical sessions with his clients. Freud believed that people could be cured by making conscious their unconscious thoughts and motivations, thus gaining insight. Treatment focuses on bringing the repressed conflict to consciousness, where the client can deal with what the unconscious mind might generate. In Freud's psychoanalysis, patients would look at and interpret inkblots, free association, dream analysis, and resistance and transference analysis. A psychoanalyst may perform the following procedures, such as assess cognitive and emotional functioning and conduct regular appointments as determined by the analyst and patient. Freud would commonly use psychoanalysis to treat depression and anxiety disorders. In psychoanalysis therapy, he would have a patient lying on a couch to relax, and he would sit behind them taking notes while they told him about their dreams and childhood memories. During analysis, the analyst interprets the patient's thoughts, actions, and dreams, and points out their defenses. By carefully waiting until the patient himself is about to gain the same insight, the analyst can maximize the impact of the interpretation. Related to these interpretations is the problem of the patient's denial. The analyst may well have reason to believe that a patient's denial of an interpretation offered by the analyst is another example of the defensive process. To explain this in simple terms, patients would enter a state of denial when traumatic events were remembered. One of the main reasons that people would reject the memories that the subconscious mind would generate is because they did not understand why the conscious mind was not keeping the traumatic memory as an active memory. The reason for this is because the subconscious mind holds onto certain information or intentions in order to protect the individual from overwhelming or distressing thoughts and emotions. And more specifically, it will repress traumatic events that the conscious mind is not capable of processing at the time of the incident. An example of when the subconscious mind would hide something from the conscious mind would be extreme abuse that someone experienced as a child. If a child experiences something hugely traumatic such as sexual abuse, the conscious mind has not developed enough to establish the coping methods to process this event or the memory. So the subconscious mind will prevent the conscious mind from acknowledging this kind of event. The problem with this is that the subconscious will not naturally release this memory to the conscious mind by itself, and will keep it hidden for as long as it can. But just because the subconscious mind is not allowing us to process this memory does not mean that the traumatic memory or the natural reactions to this have disappeared. They are simply stored away. Emotions such as fear, anger, panic, and the fight or flight response will still stay in our body and will present themselves in the form of triggers in situations that are relevant to the traumatic event. It's also very difficult for the subconscious mind to hide these memories all the time, and they will often represent themselves in the forms of flashbacks and nightmares. It was upon learning this that Freud came to the realization that the use of hypnotherapy on its own was not sufficient enough to deal with these deep-rooted issues because they were not conscious thoughts. Which is also why he started to rely on dream analysis as a big part of his approach and treatment program. Dreams are seen as a representation of the subconscious mind, where subconscious thoughts are expressed symbolically and disconnected from conscious awareness. Complementary dreams are also viewed as a window to the subconscious processes of countertransference and subjectivity. That brings today's video to an end. I hope you have all enjoyed learning about Sigmund Freud and have a more educated opinion on why he is considered by many to be one of the best therapists to ever exist. We're going to be uploading more videos similar to this topic every 2 weeks. So please remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and also click the bell icon so that you're notified of our uploads as soon as they come out.